That is recording.
What the fuck?
Hello. Miraculously, I'm back again with another Christmas timeline video. I honestly have no idea how I managed to pull this one off, but more on that in a moment. So as you may or may not know, I've done quite a few Christmas timelines already, this being my 5th one. But if you're not familiar with these, what I do is I compile a load of Christmas songs from one decade, I arrange them in a medley where the songs are all in year order, and I perform that medley on keyboards. So far, I've done Christmas timelines for the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, one for the 50s, and this one is my second Christmas timeline for the 50s. I did 50s Christmas Timeline 1 last Christmas. That was 2014. When I was at the stage of selecting the songs for it, in my iTunes library I had so many 50s Christmas songs to choose from that I felt were good. I felt my best option was to do 2 Christmas timelines for the 50s. I decided I was going to do 50s Christmas Timeline 2 this Christmas of 2015. And last Christmas I actually made the song selections for both Christmas timelines. That's forward planning for you. I was expecting 50s Christmas Timeline 2 to be just slightly easier than the average challenge level of previous Christmas timelines. Because I had a head start. I'd already chosen the songs for it, that was one less thing to worry about. Now that was an error of judgment. The first thing I did in preparation for the 50s Christmas Timeline 2 this year was to arrange the medley, and it was only then that I realised I wasn't happy with the song selection. I felt there needed to be more upbeat songs in there, and some of the songs I felt were a little bit weak. I was very aware that in order to change the song selection, I would have to invest time into it. I would have to search online for alternative songs, do the research and make sure I've got the right years for them, then download them, put them in the appropriate playlists in my iTunes library, and also I would then have to rearrange the medley around the new song selection. This would all inevitably leave me with less time to actually learn to play the music, which is quite an important part of the process. My plan then was to change the song selection just a little bit. I didn't want to leave it as it was, but by changing just about 3 songs, it would improve the medley a little bit without eating too much into my time that I would have left to actually learn to play the music. I searched for Christmas 1951 first, because I felt that was the year that was most in need of something different. And I found a really good song, and I thought that is definitely going in. When I searched for that song on Amazon in the digital music category, it crops up quite a few times on different albums. That's often the case. And the price to buy that song singly was ranging from 69p to 89p, and I thought I might as well just go for the 69p one. The album that has that particular copy of that song on it is called It's Christmas Volume 2. And I got a bit curious about what else I might be able to find on that album, so I clicked to find out. That album has got no less than 100 Christmas songs on it, all old ones, most of them I'd never even heard of before. There was no way I could let that album pass me by. I had to buy it, but I knew that my work was going to be majorly cut out with the research, trying to find out the years of all the songs on it, or at least as many of the songs as I could find the years for. It could have potentially put me in a position where I'd have no time left for actually probably even arranging the medley, let alone learning to play it, but it was a risk I had to take. I soon found out that 22 of the songs on this album I already had elsewhere in my iTunes library, and had already found out the years of them. So I only had to do the research for 78 of the songs off of this album, which is still a lot, but it's not as many as 100. In previous years, I found searching for the years of old Christmas songs very time consuming, and in some cases I literally just wasn't able to find the years. But this time around I found a really good website called 45cats.com. I'm going to put a link in the comments because it's helped me out massively. It's got lots of information about old vinyl records, including the years. How convenient. Once I'd finished doing the research, I was then able to look at changing the song selection for 50s Christmas Timeline 2. At this point in time, I realised the number of 50s Christmas songs I had in my iTunes library had massively increased. Some of the songs I felt weren't usable for one reason or another, but once I'd whittled it all down to songs I felt were usable, I realised that I'm going to be able to take 50s Christmas timelines to 3, possibly at a push even 4. I'm not too sure about that, but there's definitely going to be a 50s Christmas Timeline 3 at some point in the future. But one thing's for sure, I definitely won't be doing that next Christmas, because to be quite honest, I'm a bit sick of playing 50s Christmas music now. What the fuck am I doing? When I was changing the song selection for 50s Christmas Timeline 2, I was thinking in the big picture. I was very mindful about what I was leaving for future 50s Christmas timelines. I ended up changing 7 songs, and I was very happy with the new song selection, but I was also very concerned about how little time I had left. I had to get the medley arranged with this new song selection, and I ended up with very little time to actually learn to play this music. I'd booked a week's holiday time to perform 50s Christmas Timeline 2, so I knew which week I had to have it ready for. When it came down to it though, I had to set a deadline for a particular day during that week to do the performance by. When I finished performing these Christmas timelines, that's not the end of the job and then I can just upload a video to YouTube. There's a lot of technical stuff I have to do. I have a lot of raw ingredients which I have to then piece together and create a video out of them, which I can then upload. And if I'd have done the performance later than this particular day I had in mind, I wouldn't have had enough time to actually create the video, and I may not have been able to upload it on time, so the pressure was most definitely on to learn the music. The way things were looking, I felt I had zilch chance of having 50s Christmas Timeline 2 ready to perform on time. I was quite convinced I was going to end up having to put it off for a year and do it in 2016 instead. But then I was starting to see a glimmer of hope about a day or two before the intended performance day. It was all starting to come together slowly, literally the day before the performance. But when you actually try to perform a medley that you've only just learnt, you're in for a bumpy ride. And I certainly was in for a bumpy ride. The day of the performance was a massive test of endurance. I started performing shortly after midday, and I finished at 2 AM. That is a long day. There came a point where I switched onto headphones because of noise during unsociable hours. I did the performance in 10 stages, and basically every stage of the performance took a very long time and lots of takes to get right, because I was so under-practiced. Some of the stages of this performance I literally only played one song. I did this with songs I was less confident playing. Normally I would try to go through a good 4 or 5 songs per stage to make it a bit more live, but I felt it was necessary to make an exception to the rule. As it happens, the last 4 songs in 50s Christmas Timeline 2 I actually did in 3 stages. These are the songs where I was wearing headphones and it was really late at night. Basically, I was really tired and I just wanted to get to the end as soon as possible, so I thought I'd just make it a bit easier. Anyway, I think it's time for you to hear this festive medley of 21 Christmas songs from the 50s. Fifties Christmas Timeline 2 is coming up right now. Enjoy!